Well, it's 9 o'clock. So, just in terms of timing, let's get started here. Hopefully, anyone who is hoping to join will make it in, before too late. So, I'm Jamie Good. I am over here in Canada and gonna have a little chat with Josh today. How you doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good, Jamie. Thanks for taking the time to kind of help me set this up and
No worries.
get it all going. So, as my guys know, I'm Josh, and just in case you were wondering, because I know a lot of people haven't talked to you in a while, I am currently in the south of France, a little bit north of Marseille, in the lovely Provence area.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous because, like I said, it is snowing like crazy here today. I wouldn't mind being where you are, that's for sure. But yeah, that's
Well,
great.
somebody's got to do it, so I
Yeah,
figured I'll
yeah,
take one
yeah,
for the
yeah,
team and
yeah, yeah.
and kind of jump in.
Uh, well, uh, we're doing this today to kind of let people know where you're at now. You've jumped into a new, exciting situation and role that I think people would be interested in knowing about. So let's just start with that. Like, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Yeah, no, good question. And sorry everybody for the suspense, but I think Jamie thought it would help build the anticipation a little bit more. But
Hey,
um, no, I decided to partner up and join one of my favorite learning tech companies on planet Earth, Bongo Learn. A awesome scale up that is really kind of setting the bar that I think learning organizations, talent organizations, skills organizations are going to find out very soon that they're going to need to meet.
cool. And what's your role at Bongo?
Yeah, so I'm head of strategy and growth. So I know growth is usually a marketing term, but I think it's all about making the company bigger and expanding the impact. And marketing is very much part of that, but so is sales, so are customer success, and so is that whole flywheel. And so Josh Kamrat has given me the opportunity to partner with Bongo to really kind of scale up their organization and kind of go international, go global. I
Nice.
mean, we already have about 7 million users, but go bigger.
Nice, nice. And I think, based on what I know about you, this is where you shine and this is where you love to play. I see the
Yeah,
smile on your face about it already.
I get to break stuff and fix it and make it better.
And what's the exciting part for
Josh,
you in
just letting
this?
you know, I'm not going to break stuff too bad. Don't worry.
And what's the exciting part in this for you?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, I've been in the L&D field for over 25 years, and it's the only thing I've ever done. And I feel that from a technology perspective, and I love tech. I always have. But I also have a background in learning theory and pedagogy, and I've taught, and I've been an instructional designer, a learning experience designer, had companies in this, and what I keep consistently seeing in our space is the absolute lack of domain expertise when people are building tech.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
Entrepreneur has a cool idea, says, "Hey, you know what? I think I could sell that." Get some techies, they build the idea, and then say, "Hey, learning and development team, you guys need this." And the
mm,
L&D team's like, "Wow, that is a great idea. We probably could use this." And so once they start unpacking it, though, they realize, "Oh, well, you haven't thought through 98% of my use case.
mm,
You solve this one problem." And so a lot of these tech companies then spend the remainder of their lifetime stacking, backfilling feature gaps,
mm, mhm,
right? And
mhm,
and so they're pretty good at solving the problem that they set out to solve, but then the other problems, they're not great at getting advice from domain experts, until later in their evolutionary growth. So usually around 50 million in revenue, then they're like, "Ooh, hold on, we probably need some experts to talk to." And so then they backfill. What I love about Bongo is Bongo was actually started by an academic and then grown up by the tech team and business professionals. And now this next iteration of Bongo again has that domain expertise by L&D teams vetted by L&D from the beginning. We don't launch a feature without actually having L&D beat it up. And we're going to grow that way.
nice.
Uh, and we don't see this very often. So I'm
No.
super, super excited to see if, people knowing what they talk about actually will work.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's super true. Because my experience is what you've been just stating as well. So I wonder, like, what is the thing about Bongo that you think fits into this industry, into this space, into what you've known, what you're dealing with, etc.
So about 4 years ago, I guess I was introduced to Bongo when Josh and his former kind of head of sales guy kind of blind ambushed me at Learning Technologies in London and said, "Hey, you're gonna like what we have." And I was like, well, flustered, and I was leaving the convention, and like, all right, you know what, fine. So we go to a local pub, and I have a pint. They kind of tell me what they've got, and like, holy cow, I do need what you guys have. And so we integrated it in Loop, and in the real kind of thing that I saw then, and Bongo has subsequently changed, is Bongo kind of finishes the story in learning on do you know stuff,
Mm,
right? 99%, 99.9% of learning platforms, learning management systems or learning experience platforms basically evaluate you on did you complete the content?
mhm,
How much time did you spend on the content?
mhm,
And could you pass a multiple choice test on the content, or maybe a fill in the blank or some weird matching thing that has not been psychometrically evaluated, right? Has been built generally by somebody who isn't trained to build valid test instruments. And then at the end of that's how you score. And it's like, yeah,
mhm.
and a lot of times you're stuck with SCORM, or you have some wonky built-in learning editor in the system, and that's it. And all right, so now you know stuff because you've taken this test built by this guy who is an expert in it. And the challenge is when you're talking to people who know their stuff, they know that there's so much bias that goes into this stuff that it's not scalable, that it's not built for the intentionality that it needs to do to solve the problem that it's trying to do.
Mhm,
And so what Bongo does is, and that was then, is it allows people to perform. And
mhm,
so, from a learning theory perspective, and this is old stuff, if we're looking at um, different learning models, all of them basically kind of get to the same point, right? And that point is do something, prove it, show it, demonstrate, right? And that's basically how you know that you're competent. And so, what I like to call it is it from a learning perspective, we can say that if you can demonstrate this to me, and I can evaluate that, then I can say from a learning perspective that you're skill ready,
yeah.
right? I can't say that you're skilled. I haven't seen you in action. I haven't seen you in the real world, and I'm not a domain expert in stacking widgets or whatever it is that we're trying to do. So Bongo basically allowed you to perform that in a variety of modalities, and a bunch of different cool use cases, and then allowed different team members to evaluate peer review based on rubrics, and then allowed our manager or instructor to evaluate as well. And that was then, and that was awesome because it completed the story. So I could get you through the learning journey, and then I could get you to prove it that you know
Yeah.
it. And then from an L&D perspective, I can push you back to the team and say, you're as good as I can make you.
Yep.
Now, fast forward to why I joined Bongo. and this is the mic drop moment, is Josh and his team have been working like busy little beavers in the background, looking at all this AI stuff, and they've been playing with AI for probably about 5 years. I mean, so since they've been doing some AI stuff. But the generative AI stuff kind of came full-fledged and became accessible, and they looked at that and like, awesome. This is exactly where we've been heading, but now we've got tools that we can kind of force multiply 10x our capability.
Yeah.
And what I'm mega excited about, and what I think is going to kind of change how the learning industry kind of looks at things, is they built an AI tool that can automatically evaluate content at scale.
Nice.
And how they do that, you're gonna have to reach out to me, and I'll have to give you a demo. Um, but this is the mic drop moment that is basically going to revolutionize the industry. And most of the learning tech partners out there, platforms out there, got some cool AI. Sure, it basically looks at PDF and spits out some questions. Awesome. Or better yet, looks at that PDF and makes another SCORM course that no one's ever going to take.
Oh my god. So the thing, so when I'm, because I remember Bongo at the time, and I really liked what it was capable of doing and how you've described that, where it was kind of finishing up after the learning, being able to help people demonstrate that they can actually do something and demonstrate that they can do that thing. So I do remember, though, that a manager, or like you said, peers would have to evaluate, look at this, make sure that was good. So this sounds like it's taking that off people's plates. Am I correct in assuming that?
It is, if they want to, right? So
Okay.
one of the core tenets of Bongo is kind of this concept of human in the loop, which is a core principle in the AI kind of
Mm-hmm.
world. AI is cool, but I don't trust it.
Mm.
We've all been playing with ChatGPT and watched it go on like some pretty cool hallucinations. And so one of the things that you can do is you can scale infinitely
Nice.
at speed. And one of the powerful models of Bongo's tech, and they're patented it and all that, is it's got a 2% variance on a human evaluator. And
Nice.
and so we've got research studies on it. They've evaluated over 1.2 million hours of video over the past 10 years, and then
Nice.
basically came up with this algorithm, benchmarked it against it, where human to human has a higher variance than 2%.
Wow.
I mean, if
Wow.
I'm having a bad day,
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to
you're
say,
going to get evaluated
yeah,
kind of rough.
yeah. I was just going to say that. Well, you did, like, you surfaced there that I heard in your comment earlier that you said bias, and that was the one thing that was coming into my mind, is that the AI shouldn't have that issue. Um,
No, no. I mean, if you know anything about AI, I mean, most AI developers by default have a little bit of bias into the algorithm. But it's not the level of bias that's inherent in just my upbringing by, growing up in Texas and then living in Lebanon, living in Dubai, living in Malta, and now living in France, right? So I've got some pretty foundational level biases
mhm.
that this guy doesn't.
Great.
And because of that kind of warm and safe feeling, one of the other kind of really cool research studies that we've done is that students or learners or participants who are validating their knowledge set, we found that they're 3.5 times, so they practice 3.5 times more than somebody who's just evaluating with a human evaluator,
Mm, mm,
because the response back is
mm.
because it's safe.
Right.
Right? Jamie doesn't care if I'm fat or skinny or black or white. The AI doesn't care.
Mm,
So it removes all of that latent inherent bias completely from the equation,
mhm.
and then basically evaluates on it. Do you know your stuff or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, like, because you were my manager before, and let's say that we had like a disagreement yesterday, but I have to submit something to you to evaluate today. I'm not going to feel amazing about doing that and not wanting to do it, like you said, like 3 or 4 more times. I will want to just do it once, get it out of the way, and that's it. So that makes sense to me. Actually, that really makes sense to me. So in terms of the future of, maybe AI in the industry and how Bongo is going to be a piece of this, like what's your vision and what are you excited about in this new role and space, etc.?
Yeah, no, it's an awesome question, and I mean, we all know that kind of the generative AI is kind of a game changer, right? And
Mm,
so now we've got kind of like the generative text based AI, that the market's seeing very very quickly. And if you look at like some of the companies on the bleeding edge, it's also generative video based AI. And I'm not saying that we're not looking at it, but we're looking at it. But I think from the AI perspective, you've got some tech stuff that is going to go at a speed that we're not used to. in kind of our evolutionary history. I mean, I don't know if you're a fan of the singularity or Ray Kurzweil and all of that, but I mean, basically, the basic principle is that a Google style innovation is going to happen according to the rate of Moore's law, right? So the processing powers of computing doubles every 18 months. So a Google is going to start happening at the rate of every 18 months. And we're already seeing companies coming out with this level of impact, and that's just going to increase. And so what we're doing with AI is basically allowing really kind of the population of learners not necessarily be beholden by technology. We're letting them validate whether they know something in that flow of work, because we don't have to be in an LMS. We can sit anywhere, right? Do you know something? I don't know. Go bongo it. And so I can validate whether I know something or not. That validation happens, and then I can go about my day. And so where I see this happening is really kind of unlocking the realm of possibility of the rest of that institutional knowledge that the LMS doesn't typically capture, as in 90% of all learning, if we're still dealing with that fun 70-20-10 model. But if we think about it, institutional knowledge is kind of trapped into generic off-the-shelf courses built by the company, or courses kind of sourced from third-party providers, right? But most of my learning, most of how I learn how to do the job is by talking to you, talking to colleagues, learning at conferences, reading books, looking at YouTube, right? And I've got my policies, procedures, and all that within kind of my corporate learning model. But if I want to prove that I know something that I read on the internet and I validated, and there's an assessment for that to badge me out that skill or authenticate that I know it, I can jump in, read it wherever I want to get it, from my university, from a homeless guy on the street, and I can validate whether that knowledge is accurate and authentic or not.
Yeah.
And so for me, that is the end result of what we're trying to do in L&D. We're trying to know if you know stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't really trust that you're good enough to go find out on your own. So we're going to kind of jam it down your throat.
Right.
And that's kind of the old model. The new model is go figure it out. Go ask ChatGPT. If he's lying to you, we're going to tell you.
Yeah. Nice. Anything else we can expect from you in the next, I don't know, few months to a year?
Bit of noise. I'll be a little bit more present on LinkedIn. Try to do a few more of these. I'm fairly particular in my view of learning. A bit jaded, so apologies if I offended anybody. Not my intent, but it's been a long road to get here, and I just am frustrated with kind of where the industry is and how you still see different organizations trying the same thing that's been going on since the 80s. Nothing has changed, and it's been going on before that. I mean, it's been going on forever. And what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing time and time again and expecting a different result. I feel a lot of times our industry sometimes does that a little bit too much. And so this is something new, and it's something that says, hey, we don't necessarily need to sit within a particular platform. We can sit anywhere. We're happy to sit in whatever platform. But the nice thing is, we basically give L&D and we give the learning teams the power to say, hey, you know something or you don't.
Yeah.
We're a good umpire, strike or a foul.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've kind of lacked a lot of times in the past. The best assessment we had was a multiple choice, or fill in the blank, or matching. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Do something. Show me that you know it. Demonstrate that knowledge. Teach it back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is great. I would love to see this new iteration, because I remember when we were digging into Bongo before at Loop, that when I would demonstrate to people, their mouths would drop open, like literally on the call. Like that. Yeah. That was the fun thing about doing Zoom calls with people, is I would just watch their faces along the sidebar and just see this like mouths drop open. And this sounds like it's taken it like up a couple of levels, if not more.
Yeah,
So yeah, I need to see this because this sounds kind of awesome.
it's pretty incredible. I mean, I literally was on a call just before this, and big organization, about 1 million people in it, and I'm trying to do the good boy thing and do some slides. But it just kind of rubs my soul the wrong way. So I stopped and just started showing some of the platform. And about 10 minutes into the call, she stopped me and said, "Hey, do you mind if we stop right here and you send me a copy of the platform? I'll give you some stuff that you fill it up, and then we actually do this with my stuff so I can then
Nice.
get it in front of my manager by tomorrow."
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm
Well,
like, yeah, we can make that happen.
yeah, well, because I think people will be able to see pretty quickly that there's like ROI with a tool like this. Like you have immediate impact, and that's something that I don't know you can say with a lot of other stuff that I've had to deal with in the past. But yeah, this is great.
Well, I mean, the nice thing about it is I don't have to build a sales organization. I have to build an enablement organization. I mean, if you're in learning, this makes sense. You don't need a sales guy to tell it to you. You need
Yeah,
somebody who can basically, a learning person to help you make it shine. you know,
that makes sense.
and that's the goal, right? That's the goal of any industry is you build a tool that has the purpose that that ingredient seafront. um,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, thanks, sir. I think we'll maybe let people get back to their day, but let's do this again and talk a bit further. Once you're digging in a bit more, there's probably some good stories to tell. So
Love
let's
it, man. Thanks
be
for
the
doing
first
this,
one.
Jamie. I appreciate it. And
And thanks to whoever's joining. I can't see anybody who's
yeah,
on
I
or
know.
whatever, but
I do want to just mention, like, we tried to do this yesterday, but I find it very ironic that a multi-billion-dollar organization like LinkedIn has to use like 3 or 4 third-party tools to launch a LinkedIn Live. So, in Jamie and I's arrogance, oh yeah, we're tech guys, we can figure this out. We're sitting there going,
yeah, it was pretty funny. Well,
yeah,
we made it happen today, and I'm sure this is recorded, so we'll be able to have it for people to see who maybe missed it. But thanks, and
awesome.
enjoy your day over there in the south of France, sir.
I will, and enjoy the snow with the pup in Canada.
I will. He's a lot of fun. All right.
Awesome. Take care.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.